Xin chào tất cả mọi người, chào mừng mọi người quay trở lại với chương trình Lịch sử hào hùng. Một chương trình được thành lập bởi IELTS ICAS nhằm mục đích giúp các bạn trẻ vừa có thể được học tiếng Anh này, lại còn vừa có thể tìm hiểu thêm về lịch sử của nước nhà. Còn chần chờ gì nữa nhỉ? Bây giờ chúng mình sẽ tiếp tục đến với tập tiếp theo là tập 27 nhé.
Kissinger is known as America's genius diplomat. His influence on the United States was so great that after being elected, President Trump had to meet with former Secretary of State Kissinger regarding diplomatic issues. Speaking about Vietnam, Kissinger told Donald Trump, "To Americans in particular and the world in general, the Vietnamese people are an exceptional people. Vietnam is small and impoverished, but has a history of resistance against foreign invaders that no other nation in the world has experienced. Resilient, indomitable, intelligent, hardworking, courageous, heroic, and humane. All these traits are present in this nation. Therefore, if the United States today and in the future needs advice on its diplomatic approach to Vietnam, the following important points should be noted. We should not attempt to draw close to them because Vietnam is highly vigilant about major powers. They fear closeness will lead to manipulation or compromise of national security. A prime example is China, their immediate neighbor. Even during the Vietnam War, they remained cautious about China's action. Therefore, in 1978, in Cambodia and on the northern border in 1979, they were not surprised at all. We should also avoid creating hostility with them. As we know, at certain times during and after the war, the nation seems isolated, but their spirit and determination never waned. If other nations were colonized by the North for thousands of years like the Vietnamese, they might have disappeared from the map a long time ago. Yet they have preserved their cultural identity and never forgot the mission of reclaiming national independence. Therefore, seeing them as an enemy is sometimes not beneficial for America. With Vietnam, we should respect their right to self-determination, build trust, and show respect to them because they will be a formidable force in Southeast Asia and Asia in the near future. With a unique diplomatic position like Vietnam, they do not form alliances to create factions against us. They are a leading symbol in abolishing colonialism worldwide. As a result, Vietnam remains a model for national liberation and independence for many countries. They have a voice and certain influence on nearly all nations, whether friendly or unfriendly towards us. Nations that cooperate and have relationships with them feel much more secure in their relationship with the United States. That is why with Vietnam, we should adopt a special type of relationship with them. Neither close nor coercive, nor isolating nor hostile. Let us treat them objectively and respectfully. By doing so, America will undoubtedly have many advantages in Asia and globally because this is a special nation, a special people. America should also establish a special relationship with them. Kissinger's advice to Donald Trump shows how significant Vietnam's position is in the eyes of foreign countries. We can also see Kissinger's talent, a man at 97 years old who is still sought after by the leaders of major countries and whose advice is highly valued. Despite being highly sought after for his talent, few people know that Kissinger was severely defeated by Le Dictateur during the signing of the Paris Peace Accords in 1973. On January 8, 1973, after the US brought bombs to Hanoi, hoping to return it to the Stone Age, they unexpectedly turned Hanoi into the Aluminum Age because so many B-52s were shot down. Nixon and his generals were focused to sit at Paris negotiation table to officially withdraw troops from South Vietnam. That day, the Vietnamese delegation did not open the doors to welcome the US delegation as usual, but let Kissinger walk in himself. Seeing the North Vietnamese delegation waiting, Kissinger felt very uneasy and had to start with an apology. "That was not my responsibility. The bombing was not my fault." Le Dictateur immediately began to berate him as if firing cannon shots at Kissinger. He started, "Using the excuse of a disruption in negotiations, you bombed North Vietnam on the very day I returned home. Your actions are shameless and brutal. You have tarnished America's honor." Thinking Thought would stop after those remarks, Kissinger was wrong. Thought continued to berate him for over an hour, saying, "For over 10 years, the US has used violence to subjugate the Vietnamese people, napalm bombs, B52s, and all sorts of other bombs. Yet you've learned nothing from those failures. Truly foolish." When Thought stopped pounding the table, the Vietnamese interpreter could not translate the last two words. Member of the US delegation had to translate it themselves. Foolish. Stupid. Realizing Thought's fury, Kissinger tried to calm him down. "I've heard many adjectives in your speech just now. Please don't use such words." Thinking this would end the matter, Kissinger was again wrong. Thought retorted, "I have used these words sparingly. Global opinion, American media, and American politicians have used harsher language." Overwhelmed by the barrage of criticism, Kissinger almost naively asked, "After we conclude these negotiations and end the war, who will you scold next? Do you intend to scold your staff as you do to me?" Thought calmly replied, "I am merely voicing the opinions of my people. My staff would never betray me like you have, so I wouldn't need to scold them." Later, Kissinger confessed, "I could have done better if my counterpart at the negotiating table had not been Lịch Thought. In Paris, he dissected me with the skill of a surgeon. There were times he spoke for hours, and when I said I had heard it before, he responded, 'You've heard it but haven't remembered it. Sit still, and I'll say it again until you remember.'" This cautious approach led to the carefully drafted Paris Peace Accords, which Wen Bing later described as so precise that decades later, not a single word could be changed. After signing the agreement on February 8, 1973, Kissinger visited Hanoi and was warmly received by Lịch Thought. During a visit to the Historical Museum, when Kissinger learned that Vietnam had defeated the Mongols 3 times, he was startled and exclaimed, "For us, fighting you once is modern enough."